Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. I of course am Carl with another episode and weekly upload. I hope you guys had a good Labor Day weekend, safe and whatnot. I of course did, and I do realize my last video was about a day late. I apologize for that, but as everybody knows, we did have a holiday, so I was off doing things with friends and family. Today, of course, we're going to get back to our regularly scheduled Sunday programming. I've got a really special vacuum I wanted to do a video on today, so we're going to look at that. And that's all I have for announcements so far. So let's get on to the video. All right, everybody. So we actually have a very, very special vacuum to go over today. I have had a couple of people ask to see this one. So if you out in the Watcherland see this vacuum, thanks for requesting it. It is a very special machine to me, but here you are. So what we are looking at today is a very, very overly designed upright that came out of about the mid to late 60s time frame by the General Electric Company. As you can see, it is a General Electric product. Now, this is a model U-7 upright. It came out probably at around the 1965-66 time frame, continued all the way till 1969. It was a very popular model, and GE did represent it in their ads. I'll show a couple right here. And as you can see, there's some other uprights, or not uprights, but other canisters and hand vacs and stuff. GE really wanted to get a hold of, the market when it came to these things. You know, they were competing with Eureka and Hoover at the time, as well as people like Kirby and Electrolux in a certain way as well. Now, the U-7, as you probably saw, exactly like this, this would have been their top of the line upright of that particular era. Now that's not saying that this was the only one they had. They had other uprights. They had others that didn't have this right here, as well as some that didn't have headlights. But this particular designed upright had some really cool features. Now, this one being a top of the line has a automatic cord reel, not a cord away or a cord winder. This is a cord reel. Being as there was different terms, it was used by different vacuums at the time, we see this one as just a cord reel, which is what they normally are called, outside of the vacuum realm. But of course it does use just a vinyl and paper bag setup, much like others. They did have kind of a different design, which kind of makes vacuum bags hard to find just because GE doesn't really make parts for their older stuff anymore, so it can be difficult to find parts for these things. This one, like I said, did feature the headlight on the front. At some point in its life, as you might be able to tell right here, it had the wrong kind of headlight that kind of melted the hood and the lens a little bit, but gives it character in my opinion. Now, the cool thing about this particular machine is these big switches, and I'll take a look at this one right here, up close, and then we'll take a look at this one over here, up close. Now this is going to be suction control over here, and this one is going to be your different surfaces that you'd be working on. Currently it's in rug mode, and you can switch it to hose, which would lower the back of the machine, which essentially this was just a height adjustment that we would have seen, kind of like on Kirby's and whatnot on the side, and Hoover's had their own as well. But you had your suction control, again, just in case you're doing hoses and whatnot, you had to switch that back. But those were a couple of the features of this machine. Of course, you would have had a 2-speed motor controlled up at the top. Here you would have had your cord relay or cord rewind, and then a switch to bring that back down. But this machine was super overly designed. Now I will say that because like as I turn this around, you can see kind of this dial right here. This is where you would have put your hose in. Now, normally on a Hoover product, you would have had a connection point or an additional attachment piece that would have connected your hose to the machine. GE wanted to make it so that you had all-in-one, and all you had to do was a hose into it, and you were ready to go. Now, looking at later uprights and things like that, you did have, you know, that kind of a feature with onboard tools and all that whatnot. So, very, very cool that they over-engineered this thing. Now, that being said, these were pretty expensive machines back in the day. You know, as I've been told, they were as much as your, you know, monthly car payment at the time, which could be, you know, 100, 150, 100, all the way up to $200 sometimes, which, you know, in that day's math, you're looking at probably double to triple that in today's value. So you're looking kind of at like what a Dyson would cost now. So these were pretty, you know, upscale machines back in the day, which unfortunately is why a lot of them didn't sell. People couldn't afford them. But we have this one. Now this one is a bit more special than just in what it is. This was previously owned by my late friend Jay, as we did the video on. If you haven't seen them, there was a two-part video I did, some help from my friends, and we did a tribute to him, but this machine was one of his. In particular, this was one that I always loved, and, you know, if I came to visit, I told him, hey, put that old GE in that room, because I really want to see it, and it's just something to marvel at. So, you know, when I would stay with him, that would usually be in my guest bedroom. But this is a very special machine. He loved this machine, and on many occasions, you know, I tried to get it, to buy it from him or trade it for him or to him for it. But he knew the value of it, and he knew, you know, the rarity of it historically and whatnot. So, you know, he didn't necessarily want to give it up at the time. Not to mention, it was also owned by a close friend of his, and somebody who was included in the tribute video to him, Philip Mueller. He was the original owner of this previous to Jay. I'm sure it had other owners, obviously, in that time period, but, you know, he was the one that they had made a trade at some point back in time, and you know, Philip did say that he wished that he remembered it, and you know, at sometimes regretted getting rid of it. But it is now, you know, in my collection, and it is definitely one of my absolute favorite uprights. Not only because of what it is, but also because, you know, it was something that he cared about quite a bit. But anyways, let's get on to the run demo and see how it performs. Alright, so we do have some natural sunlight coming in, so we do have that, which is nice, love it. So let's see how she does. As you can see, while it's plugged in, the headlight will stay on, just to kind of denote that it is still plugged in. So, as you can see, and you can turn it all the way back, you know, when it's not in use. So that while it's plugged in, it's not. So, and just to demonstrate, here is the cord. Sometimes you gotta help them out a little bit. And just like that, you don't have to worry about any cord hooks or doing this kind of motion. So, and that will conclude the run demo for today. All right, everybody. Well, I hope you enjoyed our little expose on the Model U-7 GE upright. Like I said, it is a very special upright to me, as well as a special piece in my collection, so I do hope you guys enjoyed that. Of course, if you have not seen the tribute video we did for Jay, it's been quite a while since we did that, a few months ago now, but if you haven't seen it, definitely, if you have some time, it is quite long, but if you have some time, go ahead and take a look at it. There's some pretty cool stuff. We toured his house, saw his collection room one more time before it got taken apart, as well as we heard from some of his close friends, as well as myself. So definitely go take a look at that if you get some time. But either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed today's video, and you know, we will catch you in the next one. Of course, same place, you know, same day next week, Sunday, where we'll take a look at something else. So have a great rest of your week, y'all.